So we've been talking about this project for a while, right? Finishing off our garage and turning it into the Murcade. An interactive arcade experience as 80s and early 90s themed as humanly possible. It seemed like something we'd honestly just never get around to, but it seems like we're starting to break ground on this thing. With the help of my esteemed colleague CaptNRetro, we've already added some machines to the room before even doing the renovations, which you can argue is putting the cart before the horse, but we've really had to jump on some of these deals while they were available. I find used games laying around yard sales every time I go out. Arcade cabinets, that's a different story. And sure, you can find them. Can you find them for a good price? That's the question. And when you do, you've got to strike. Let's take a look at what we've got in here so far. We have the 1989 Atari Race Drivin cabinet. This thing is a monster, and it does need some work. The sound isn't working, but the game itself is totally playable, and this thing just looks boss in here. And for what it cost, it was totally worth picking up. We've got an SNK Mechanized Attack machine, for God's sake. There's a gun on it. It's what you want done, and it's so loud it's probably got other people around here ducking for cover when they hear it. This thing doesn't mess around. If I love anything about arcade stuff, it's just the loud, vibrant sound that you get out of these things. But you underestimate how loud it is when you're in a loud arcade with machines and people everywhere. Boy, this thing lights up the garage. We've got $150 in this thing, and it also needs some work, but it's also totally playable. And we're guessing that the work will be minimal. And again, we've got good old CaptNRetro to fall back on, as I am completely a beginner at this kind of thing, but I do want to learn more about it. So then Captain finds a Tetris cabinet, and I'm like, what? Because I mean, I've never seen a Tetris cabinet anywhere. I know I've played Tetris in the arcades before, but I'm pretty sure it was on a Play Choice 10. This is an actual Tetris machine here, and it's not really original, but it looks fantastic. It speaks to me. It's something I absolutely knew I had to have. So we immediately started talking about what it was going to take to get that thing going and get it over here. And the captain makes it happen. This thing is just phenomenal. Now, I love Tetris. I absolutely do. I probably love Columns a little bit more, because if you watch the show, you know I'm a Sega guy, but this thing is just phenomenal. The artwork on it, the feel of it, it works. The controls are spot on. Two-player competitive Tetris. I mean, this is just an amazing addition. Now, I was prepared to sink a little bit more money into this one. This cabinet, as it sits, is worth about $500. We settled on a price of $400. That being the most I've spent on a machine yet, and I plan to spend more over time, obviously. We have a big room to fill here, but again, this machine just spoke to me. I absolutely had to have it. I appreciate the captain working with me, and it's a great addition to the room. This is obviously just the beginning of this fantastic journey, this fantastic project. There's so much to do and so much more to come on this series. We've got to get this room finished off. We got to talk about lighting. We got to talk about painting. We got to talk about carpeting. There's so much that has to go into this. A lot of decisions that have to be made, a lot of budgeting, and you know, we're going to need a lot more machines. That's the fun part. It's not necessarily the destination, you know, it's definitely the journey on this one, and it's going to be great when it's finished, but we're going to have a great time putting this whole thing together, and I hope that you are going to have a good time going on this journey with us. This is something that we as a family have decided that we want for our home, and it's definitely going to be the ultimate of my collection, the Murcade. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode, and we will see you on the next one.